Hey, what's going on, everybody? Let me know in the chat if you can hear me. If you're on Twitch, I apologize. I probably won't be seeing you text me. So go ahead and hop on YouTube. My link should be in there. Today, I don't know if it updated the title, but I'm just answering people's questions. So, oh, no way. I didn't even know I linked my YouTube to you. That's awesome. So I actually was starting to work on the answer to your problem. So that's great. We can kind of start with you, which is cool. So, what is your name? Christopher Chouinard. Don't know. Is that French? Sorry if I butchered that. Has got an issue with signals. And I think this is actually great. It's a little bit of an intermediate level problem. And it sounds like, definitely on the edge of what you're comfortable with. So I'm pretty excited to get into this. So you can see basically, first off, so I want to show everybody. So when you post on here, he's got this code, which is good. Like if you want to see their code, but what you want to do is just go up when you're making a comment. Like I'll just do a comment here, and then I'll write like function hello, right? Just highlight that and then click these right here, and that makes it format as a code, and you can see that in the preview. So just like my response here. So essentially, okay, yeah. So essentially, there is a he's got enemies and players, and the player is running, or one player, and player is running around. If he hits an enemy of the same color or type, essentially, then he gets a point. If it's a different type, you get hurt, which I believe is correct. Go ahead and correct me if that's incorrect. And essentially using signals. Now this is a perfect instance case for using signals. I'm going to go ahead and try to create this game really quickly. So I'll just make a quick player character, make a kinematic body, and we will add a collision shape, and I'll add an area, 2D, and a collision shape to that. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and save this. Go up path here. Where are we? There we go. Okay, create folder. QA score session underscore 1. Okay. This can be colors. And then this will be our player scene. So I'm just going to make this a really, really basic thing very, very quickly here. Let's see, go like this. We've got that. I actually think I might not even have to rewrite the movement code, even though it really only takes me like 10 seconds, because I think I've got a guy in here. This is my testing, so I do a bunch of stuff. I just made a new thing today for the asset library, which I'm really excited about, and I'll tell you guys about in a second. Okay, yeah, here's the basic movement code for everything I do that's moving. Yeah, so we'll just do this. Okay, well here, I'll just actually copy all of this code, and then we'll go into here, add a script. Okay, paste this. Okay, I've got that. This is not going to be there. Okay, we can get rid of this code. And this should look something like your movement code. You might have a little more simpler movement code. We're going to get rid of all these animations so you can see what the core of this is really doing. A lot of this is just so it would animate correctly. Okay, so this is how I make the typical movement. Is like, in fact, I'll actually make a function movement. This is almost exactly the same in all of my games. So I'm going to go ahead, X, I'm going to say movement, oopsies. Movement. I'll paste that code right there. There we go. Okay. And then now, theoretically, if I run this game, yeah, so I can move my character around the screen like this. Ooh, I actually kind of like how fast that's moving. I like that. I like that a lot. I'm going to go ahead and double the scale on this thing, though, because that looked really small. I think I kind of want to make a game where you can move around that fast, because that was fun. Just, literally just making that. Okay, let's double the scale here. And so we'll do that. Okay, cool. And then, let's see. Are you still there, Christoph? because this is quite a bit. If you have a GitHub repo and you could send me the link, that would be cool too. But this shouldn't take me too long to get into this. So this is going to be our area 2D here, and then I'm just going to do. We will do area entered. Okay. Now I'm also going to go ahead and make a enemy script. So we're going to make another one and add another. Let's do this. Another kinematic body with a collision shape, and then an area 2D. I would really like if you could copy and paste nodes between trees, but alas, you cannot. Oh yeah, and then for these guys, we'll make a sprite as well, and then again for these guys, I will get the basic, basic icon. And then, why did you do that? Okay. And then I'll go down to visibility and we'll make this guy a different color. So let's make the scale 2 by 2. And then let's make the modulate, let's crank that maybe, like red. That's cool. Like a little, ooh. Whoa there, cowboy. That's interesting. I think you can go black if you put these all the way up, but apparently not. Nope, okay. If we turn them all down to 0. I've clearly messed something up. Okay, that's fine. What if we just do a little bit of red here? That looks cool. Okay, there's our enemy. There's our enemy. Okay, and then I'm gonna add a collision chip here as well. We'll do this, we'll do that. Okay. And then for this, I will again add the Spectre, and then, oops, gotta go that one, and then we'll do body entered. Oh, we don't have a script on this one yet. Save this as enemy, okay, and then we'll add a script, not to that, but to right there, create, and then we'll do the body entered signal. Like that. Okay, cool. Oh no, yeah, it's totally fine. It's, if you know what GitHub is, it's really handy for stuff like this. Here's mine, and you basically can just you like make what's called a repo, and then it makes it like in your computer. And so like I'll write this code and hit save, and then I'll have, for instance, there's this app called GitHub Desktop, and then it just monitors all of those things for changes. So we'll go to one of these ones. It's like here, I changed the script, so it said, oh, you changed this. And then all I have to do, I don't have to re-upload the file. All I have to do is literally just click, well, I write like some name, and then I'll hit commit. We got a pull, because it changed, and then push. And then boom, all the files are updated to my project. So like you could share this with me and I'd have update to like your project and stuff like that. But it's cool. It might be handy for you just to know how to do that. But it's actually, it's like not super duper complicated. But anyway, so I think this is a pretty great opportunity. And then I'm going to do something very similar. We're essentially going to copy and paste this code for the enemy. Okay. Except we're not going to take input, but instead we're going to say, we'll say input vector equals global position dot direction to, oh, I should probably make this visible. Yeah, so I'll do this. I'm gonna make file, new script, and then I'll call this globals. Please feel free to shout at me if you don't know what the hell I'm doing. But I'm just making a new script here. And then I'm gonna make a new variable called players, or called player, and set that equal to null. Okay, I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna go to project settings, auto load. And then we're gonna go to QA session 1, colors, and play. No, where the hell did I save this script? There it is, globals. Okay, add. Okay, so now what I just did, if you don't know, is I made this a global script. So that means any node in the game can access it. You don't want to do this too much, but one thing I always do is I make this script, and then I make a variable called player, whatever your main character is going to be. Then in the ready function of my player, so I'll do function ready. And so remember, ready is called right when this player enters the game for the first time, essentially. Then I'll grab globals. It's already popping up there. Dot player, and you can see it's already filling in for me. And then we'll just say equals self. All right. And so what this does is essentially that now we can get the direction of player from that script, which is really, really nice. Okay. And so we'll say input vector is global position dot direction to globals dot player. So this will give us a normalized vector that points towards the player, and we're just going to follow that. So, interesting. Okay. So I'll make a new. Here, let's close these off because I'm going to get into those actually, because it doesn't look like it's too active in here. But so we'll make a new 2D scene, and I'll add a player. Oopsies, wrong one. I'm trying to move fast here, so that's why I'm kind of leaving stuff in the dust. Enemy, okay, and then we'll just do, we'll duplicate those. Okay, I'm gonna put my player. It's kind of fun. This is the first time I've ever like kind of made the game or made a game this quickly. And then we'll, oopsies, we'll do this, and then this. Just kind of want to move these guys. Now this is certainly not the most advanced AI, so I'd imagine this will be pretty boring, but I think, oh yeah, we gotta save this. So this will be world scene. Okay, what did not like? Invalid, oh yes, global.player dot global underscore position, yep, okay, because it can't move, yep, oh shit, okay. So you can see now they're all chasing me, and then it's pretty like boring, but you can see that works, right? Now, so essentially what I'm going to do in order to globals in front of this, what it means. Okay, so, sorry, I just nailed my mic. That was probably a loud little chirp for everybody. So when you put, it doesn't matter. I just happen to call it globals. Let's get rid of this, discard. Let me close up all of the, yeah, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that, don't need that. Okay, so these are our 3 scenes. Okay, so you can name this whatever you want, but if you go into your project settings and go to this tab, so usually you're on general and you go to this tab called auto load, you can then click this file icon, and then any scene or script that you add here, you'll click on this like I did this, and then you click this add button here, is now what's called an auto load or a global singleton. Okay, now basically what that means is that like everything else in Godot, for instance, our player is what we say like is a local scene. So you can only get access to these nodes, right? And so I can go and like from this script that I have on this, I can get information about these nodes, but I can't get information about our enemy nodes. And even in this world scene, you know, that's why one of the reasons you do signals is so you don't have to like go ask this and then ask this node from. So where is, let's see, enemy. Name this enemy here because this is gonna get a little confusing real fast. Player. See if it did that. Nope, didn't rename them for me. That's cool. But this is the player. That's all I really need to know. Okay, so so like let's say the player, you could do get parent, which would get you this node, and then say get children, and if child, and you know, get all the children and like which one's not a player, and then check their types and stuff. But we'll go over signals or whatever. Or you could, for instance, in this case, we want to know where the player is. So we're trying to get access to that player script or variable, right? So rather than doing something very kind of janky, like having every single one of these enemies constantly asking the parent to see if it has a node called player, that's how you'd say get parent.get node. That's not what you want to do. What we do, there's several ways of doing it, but the way I almost always do it is I go to the projects, I make a new script. So, and this we use for much more than that. And I call it globals, but you can literally call it like banana if you want. It literally doesn't matter. And then I'll make a variable called player. And then if we go to project settings, auto load, and then add that global script that I just made called globals, right? And remember, this could be called banana. I think it's almost a little confusing that I'm calling it globals. And then it's enabled as a singleton. What this means is that we can now have access to this script with this variable player in it from anywhere in Godot. And this is really powerful. Some people like kind of take advantage of this when they're new and be like, I'm just gonna make everything a global variable and then I can just do this. And that's not, you don't wanna do that. But this is really handy. So then in the ready function of my player, what I'm doing is I'm saying, get that variable player and set that equal to myself, okay? Now this is like actually not related to answering your question. That's just how I was gonna make the enemy chase me. But you know, that might be interesting for people to learn about. Singletons are really, really cool, really, really helpful classes like that. And typically if you're gonna make a score, something that keeps track of like your score in your game, you wanna make you almost need to make a global singleton. And then I can do var score or var like high score, right? This will be equal to 0. And then, because typically if a scene restarts, it would reset this variable, but because this is global, it doesn't restart when a scene restarts. Yeah, so this is like, yeah, you pretty much, this is how you basically have to make something if you want to make like a high score or a score type thing, is make some kind of auto-loaded singleton. But, okay, so now let's get into what you were talking about. So the first thing to do this is to go into our general, and I want to go down to 2D physics, and we're going to go to physics layers. Now, I don't know if you're doing this or not, but so what we're going to do is I'm going to say player is physics layer 1, and then enemy is physics layer 2. Okay? And then we'll go back into this area. We should actually probably make these really quickly. I'm going to add the collision shapes, so don't get lost. They're not really important, but it just keeps yelling at you if you don't do something about them. Okay? Okay, and then what we're gonna do is go into our area. We can actually do it in player 2, but it's less important. We're gonna go into our area, right? Actually, no, it is because we're doing body. So then you can go to where it says collision here, or I'm sorry, collision here under physics body 2D, and you can choose what layer you're on. So what we've just done is we've made 2 physics layers and labeled them, as you can see here. Physics layer 1 is player and physics layer 2 is enemy. And so typically what you want to do is whichever one you are. So this is case our player. Our layer is player, right? And then our mask is enemy. So essentially who you are, what layer, that's what layer you exist on. And then your mask is what you want to collide with, interact with, be affected by, affect type of deal. Whereas this is just who you are. And so that's kind of the simplest way of putting that. And so you can do that for both player, and this deals with collisions, like actually hitting objects. But you can also do it with area 2Ds, and it's very important, especially in this case. And so again, I want to just put my mask on enemy and make sure that my layer is on self. And then we're going to do the exact opposite for our enemy here. Go to enemy, collision. It is an enemy, so we'll put it on the layer enemy, not on player, and then it masks player. And we'll do the same thing for area 2D here. So we are an enemy, and we mask with player. Okay? So now what I want to do is, because you have different colored enemies in your game, and so the way that I'm going to reflect that here is, well, let's see, can I reset this back to normal? Cool. Okay, and then so we'll have, we can do blue, purple, and yellow, it looks like. And then what if I do all 3? I think that gives me a black one. That's pretty cool. It's pretty badass. So I'm gonna quickly make a way to make 4 different colors here. So actually, I'll make those constants. So I'll say constant, black, constant, constant. I'm gonna do 4 colors here. Well, yeah, okay. So black, red, purple, and then yellow. I don't know why I did that. PRPL. Okay, cool. And then we define these. So these are all going to be color. And then I'll actually do this for all these guys. Oopsies and oopsies. Okay, cool, cool. And now we're going to define what color they are. So if I want it to be black, we want to go doot, doot, and then put this, I think, like 0.4. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, so that would be 0.400, 1. Okay, and then I'm gonna go raw again. Do so red 0. So that's blue. I guess I didn't even do blue, did I? I'm gonna do this. So this is gonna be blue. It's gonna be 0, 1, 1, 1, and then purple. For purple, what is it? Green 0. Yeah. So that's gonna be 1, 0, 1, 1. Okay. And if you don't know what I'm doing right now, this is like, oh yeah, something's going on with my live stream. Let me know if the quality's all right, because YouTube's telling me that the bit rate's messed up. And to be totally honest, I don't really know what bit rate is, but it's okay. Okay, and then yellow is that. Okay, cool. So this is 1, 1, 0, 1. Okay, so now I've defined these 4 colors. I don't know if that's the best way to do that, but it works for sure. Okay, we'll go to sprite. Doesn't matter. Now we'll go up here, and then I'm gonna make a ready function. Function ready. Why does it keep trying to do that? Function ready. And then we're gonna say randomize. So if you don't know, randomize allows you to do use the random functions in your game. I mean, you can use them without it, but it generates a random seed. Actually based upon time, which I think is interesting. You can't actually make anything truly random with a computer, so what it does is it takes the time down to the milliseconds and uses that as a seed to make random numbers. So unless you play something, and if you start a game at the exact same millisecond 2 days in a row, you'll have the exact same experience. But I'd be very impressed if you did that. But anyway, so I'm gonna say, we'll say flip equals range 0 to 10. Okay. Then we're gonna say if flip is greater than, is less than, it's 4. 10 divided by 4. Am I stupid? No, we're gonna do 12. Okay. So if flip is less than 4.0, then pass elif flip is greater than 8.0, pass elif flip is greater than 4.0 and less than 0 to 4, 4 to 8. Am I tripping? Wait. Oh my god, I'm stupid. This is 16. Okay, sorry about that. Is greater than 12.0. So this is going to be greater than 8.0 and less than 12.0. Okay, pass, and we have else. Okay. Except no, that's all good. Okay, do this, pass, and flip. Okay, so essentially, sorry about all that, but essentially what I just did, oh, we have to define this. Okay, so what I just did is a flip. I made this new variable flip, and I set it to a rand range between 0 and 16, which is just a number divisible by 4 that I could think of off the top of my head. Then we said, basically we broke it down into 4s, so each one has a 25% chance. Yeah, I totally could have just done 10 and then just done 2.5, but whatever. I'm kind of like, I'm not really thinking too much, I'm just doing. So if flip is less than 4, if it's greater than 12, so these are two edge cases that have a 25% chance of occurring. LF flip is between 8 and 12, so that, and then this one is basically between 4 and 8, right? So those are 25% chance each, and then basically I'm just going to say modulate equals, and I'm going to basically copy this, and then we're going to say BLK. Here I'm going to say modulate equals BLU. Here I'm going to say modulate equals PRPL. Here I'm going to say modulate equals YLW. Okay, so that's in that script now, and then if I run our world script, we should see quite a few different colors. I don't know why there's so many blue ones. Let's run that again. Whoa, that's weird. Is that a fluke? Yeah, that's a fluke. Okay, cool. Anyway, these guys are also moving way too fast. Let's slow them down a little bit. Let's make their max velocity 800. There we go. Okay, now I got a handle on them. Well, so yeah, so they have colors now. They can be any of those 4 colors, and it's totally random. And then we basically want to do the same thing for me. I want to make myself have this possibility. So I'm going to put this in my ready function in the player. So I'll go player here. And then, of course, we do need to now define these colors in player. This is another handy thing you could do, is you could put all of these in the global variable. And then you could just, then you don't have to install these colors on everything. Shibi, what's going on? Thomas Carton. What in G scripts, which could be of help for this? Yeah, there is a switch case. It's called match. I actually don't know much about switch case, but I've heard that match is the equivalent of it. But I kind of prefer, for this, I definitely prefer if statements. And then you could do match. It would be nice. Maybe I'll make a function in the future as an add-on that would just give you a rand range chance. Like you could say, gives you like a rand range of 5 options, and then it would randomly output 1 through 5. And then, yeah. Oh, well, that would literally, oh, I'm so dumb. I can't believe I've never thought of that till right now on the spot. I've done this a million times, this exact code, but you could do this. You could do var floop, because I don't want to use flip again, equals int rand range 0 to 5. Or, yeah. And so this will return an int between 1 and 5. How have I never thought of that? I'm so stupid, dude. This is how difficult this is. I'm calculating like 4, blah, blah, blah. Wow, dude. Draw Central, I do not, because I actually have been intentionally avoiding getting into shaders. But that's really impressive that you did shaders already. I don't know. I don't know. I assume it's taxing on your GPU, so it depends what it is. I've never made a shader. I'm actually trying to get into that soon, but it's just like, I've got all these tutorials I need to make, all this stuff I need to make. Also, we've got this big project for Godot that's coming out soon. Everyone stay tuned to that. And that will be, I think it's released, we're going to drop it on, in 2 days. I'm going to be doing a drop video on what that is. But anyway, so I really want to solve your problem here, but I'm doing so much work up. I actually do like this idea for a game. You know what, though? I actually do think I'm going to make the enemies real quick. If I set the mask to also collide with enemies, then now when I run the world scene, the enemies won't be able to get like stuck together quite as badly because they'll collide with each other, see? Which is nice. Anyway, what we want is that only if I am the same color as them do I want to do I want to be able to hurt them. Otherwise, I want them to be able to hurt me. So that was the whole point of this, is we're trying to answer his question here, which is right here. So enemy from a spawner, emit signal only once. So I don't know. I'm wondering a few things. One, I'm wondering if this is emitting, right? So I'm going to steal my code that I wrote right here. So we're going to have this signal check color. and do player right here. Okay. Now, I actually don't think we even need to make our own custom signal for this. Yeah, Gonki and then Runjin actually just put out a cool shader tutorial that I think I'm gonna follow to use my first shader, even though it's doing something that I think might be easier done without a shader, in all honesty. But I think it's for learning. I think it's a good thing to do. Okay, so yes. So originally what I said here was that we'd make our custom signal check color, and then we'd send our color over to them. But we actually don't really need to do that, right? Because when I'll actually do this pretty often is with bullets, is that we'll have a property. So for instance, right now, if we have these guys, we can see that we set our modulate to these. So we could actually just hardcore check the modulate. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. Although, here, I'll do this. And I'll say var color. And then this will just, we won't define it quite yet. And then what I'm going to do here is say modulate, or I'm sorry. Yeah, modulate equals color. And then for all of these, I'm actually going to, well here, I'll just do, yeah, I'll do this for right now. We'll replace this with color. Place all, and then this will be modulate. Okay, so essentially I've made this variable color, and then we're randomly at start assigning assigning what that color is, that variable, and then we're also modulating to that color. So it's a literal color, but the other thing is that if we query and ask what this color is, I think, no, that would also just do this. Okay, so never mind, that's actually pointless. Sorry. Okay, we want to do this. And the reason we don't need a custom signal is because what I'll do is that on this function, on area 2D area entered, oh, did area entered? That's a mistake. There should be body entered. So we'll say disconnect. Although you could do area entered. Yeah, actually, let's do that. Can I? Yeah, let's do this. Okay. The only problem with, no, let's do body entered, because otherwise I don't want to confuse you guys with how I would do that. It's a little more complicated to use the area entered. So use body entered. And so if you don't know what the difference is, I'll quickly explain that. So area entered is literally checking if one of these area 2D nodes enters the area, right? So this area can check for other areas, but it can also check for bodies. So the body would be this collision shape, right? The player's collision shape, because this is under a physics body or a kinematic body, right, as our player. This is the, this will trigger the body entered signal. Now this collision shape right here that you can see right here, right? That would trigger the area entered signal because it's a child of an area 2D. So that's how these work. Now I want to connect the body entered signal. And again, because we set our collisions so that we are only looking for enemies, this will go off whenever an enemy enters that space right there. I also want to kind of add a timer because I have an idea of what your game is going to be, and I actually think it's pretty good idea. Hey there, Redefined Game Dev. This is a little sneak peek to see how this idea is going to work. And then I'm actually, yeah, so I will be putting this stream and redoing this stream in a few days. It will be bigger, more improved, and a little less complicated. Probably a little less specific to someone's use case. Anyway, so, sorry, that timer's random. Don't mean to distract you. So then we've got, I'm going to delete this function. We've got on area 2D body entered body. What we can do is then we can ask something about that body. We can say body, say if body dot get I don't know. Yeah, so they all have modulate. Okay, so if body dot modulate equals, well, I'll just say self. And I think it's, just for clarity, self.modulate, okay? And this is, you literally
Did you notice that like the day after we joked about Heartbeats not being acting more Rungeon stream, he came out of nowhere? Dude, yes, that was, and then also on Mrs. or Mrs. It's the worst name. I love him though. He was in his thing too. So he was like sleeping, doing all this stuff. I commented. I don't know if you saw it because I freaking love Heartbeats. Like not just his channel. Like I think he's just a really really good guy. And I was like, dude, please let me help you because this game is sick. I would love to help, love alleviate some of the burden because I'm kind of just chilling for a few months until I start med school. I'm literally just having fun every day, and he's like definitely paying the bills. So I would love to help him if he would let me. But anyway, okay, so we're basically going to query: is the modulate equal ourself? Is it the same as us, right? And then else will pass. And then we're going to do the exact same thing under the enemy script. Okay, this one's good. I left it there. So we're doing this. We're going to check if the body modulate equals self.modulate. Okay. Now, for the player, what we want to happen, so I'll make a variable score, just like you have, right? So var score equals 0 to start. Should be another space here and not another space there. That's the correct style guide for Godot. 2 spaces or 2 lines in between functions. Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to talk too much smack. Actually, I think everyone did pretty good in that jam, but like it's also funny because he's like not the most like interesting character, but he's just such a good developer. Like the game he made was like in 48 hours, he fucking made tic-tac-toe. Sorry, it's for swearing. He made tic-tac-toe lit, dude. Like that looked genuinely fun. And if you put a little more into that, like that could easily be one of those like cheesy mobile games that you actually want to play, but you're like, no, I can't do that. Like, you know what I mean? You see them on Snapchat or Instagram, and it's like this mobile game that actually looks addicting, but you're like, you know, I know that's just one of those games that's going to show me an ad every 10 seconds, but you kind of want to play. I was like that looks, it could easily be one of those games. Okay, sorry, digression. So we're back to this. On Area 2D body entered. What we want to do, right, is so go back to your question, your original question, is that so you want, if the player is dying, if the player is the same color as the enemy, you want the player to kill the enemy, and then the player gets the point. And then, if it's not, the player dies, I believe. But, you know what I think I'm going to do is, just because I think, especially this, to make it a little easier to test, and also might be a little more fun, because it might be a little less difficult, is we'll make a health variable, and I'll set the health equal to 3, so we get 3 shots, right? And then so we're gonna say else health minus equals 1, and then we'll say if health is less than or equal to 0, then we will say die. Okay, and then I'll make a function die. And then this will just be queue free. And then something I always like to do is do var dead equals false. And then we'll come back down here and we'll say if dead, or I'm sorry, if not dead, sorry, dead equals true. And that's because you can accidentally call the die function twice. So if I've yet to be queued freed, yeah, so if I had yet to be queue freed, and like 2 people entered this, we might accidentally call and this is a big source of, I see so many people commenting like, I don't understand why I'm getting this error, blah, blah, blah. And it's because, and I had the same problem, and it's because this could easily be called twice. And then if you're calling queue free twice, or for instance, like if you're calling like an explosion, you're instantiating some kind of explosion twice, sometimes it'll say like, you know, it's too many things to do at once. And you get some error or your game crashes. And so by just doing this, if not dead, dead equals true, what that means is this can only run once, and you only want this to run once. So it's kind of annoying because you have to make a variable for it. But yeah, I think it's solid. Anyway, so yeah, so that's how we'll die. We'll die and then if not, we want to go score plus equals 1. And so you were very close. Your code was not bad. I would say though, that if you find that you're having to type like even something like this, like if you have to type out if this, if that, if that, oh, we should get rid of that. Then this is probably not the best way to do that thing in code. Code is supposed to make your life easier where you don't have to do math, actually, ironically. So, you know, when you saw that you're making, let's go back, like you know, all these different things, you should think to yourself, you know, there's got to be an easier way to do this. Like, this is way too much work for me to have to do. And I think that's like a good rule of thumb to consider when you're coding always, is that there should be an easy way to do most things, especially in Godot. They have really well thought out and made functions for just about everything. Like, I don't know if you saw, but like, so if I add a collision shape here, well, actually, I don't think it will. Yeah, so it's got this little warning here. There's a built-in function in Godot to access that warning and write your own custom warning. They have literally everything, and it's easy. And so, like, they have literally everything thought out in this engine. And, like, you know, rarely do they not have something, especially once you realize that things are built along the same kind of patterns in Godot. It's really helpful. But anyway, so let's finish this off here. So this is actually probably all the code we need for the player script, right? Is that if it's the same color, we want to increase our score. And then I do want to do this. I want to print score. But that's just because we're not going to make a label node, right? And then also we'll do, so this is right too, health minus equals 1 if they're not the same color. Now, in the enemy script, what we'll do is something kind of different, right? Because if we are the same color, we want the enemy to die. So we'll call the function die, right? And then I'll make that function again. Function die, okay. And then I'll say if not dead, if not dad, if not a father, then dead equals true. Jesus Christ. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I look at the keyboard while I type because I'm an idiot and I can't type. No, I can't do things. I don't know how to spell Q, so I require Godot to fill that in for me. Okay, variable dead equals false. Fazel, that's new. I usually do flace if I misspell false. Okay, is not dead. Dead equals true. This should, you know, figure it out. Oh, if not dead. Okay, and then we'll say Q free. Okay, there we go. So, essentially, if we are the same color, it kills itself, and then, actually, I don't even know if you really want it to do anything. Yeah, you don't want these guys. You know what I'll do is I'll just do this just for my own. I'll say velocity equals 0. Because so if they hit the player, dry kiss principles is actually very insightful in coding. Okay, so I think this is it. I think we've solved it. Essentially what I'm doing here is like if they hit you, they kind of stop, right? And then, so what I wanted to do really quickly is add a timer, and we'll set this to like we'll just do 3 seconds, okay? I want this on auto start. We'll leave it on idle time, and then I'll connect the timer timeout signal, okay? Now, I think that might have been something. It didn't seem like you had connected those signals, so I was confused about that, like where you saw connect. When you make your own signal, you have to use the function connect. I guess I'll go over that in a second. But typically, like, so here's a built-in signal called timeout. And to do this, we right-click it, or I just hit enter twice, is what I did there. And you could go here and we click connect. Okay, that's so funny. I've actually never looked at these node signals, and these could potentially be pretty handy. Script changed? Okay, sorry. Okay, so, and then we connect this timeout signal. So now it's connected, so now it exists. We can't just write the function. Like if I didn't connect that and I just wrote the function on timer timeout, it wouldn't just work, right? We have to connect that there and then connect it to this function. And then what I want this to do is basically essentially here, I want it to do this. So we'll do this, and then what we can do is actually just call that function from here. So you could say underscore on timer timeout. So, and this is something that I hope isn't too confusing, especially given what I just said. But so even though this is a signal function, we can call this function from elsewhere, right? It's not going to trigger the timer to do anything, but we can call this function and have it do this stuff. So I make this function, I want to just, typically what you should actually do is make a, yeah, I'll do this. This is how you should do it to make your code correct, like politically correct code, right? Is we'll say function pick underscore random underscore color, okay? And then we'll do this. We'll do this. And then here we'll call pick random color. And then make sure that works. And then up here, what we do here is then just say pick random color. Okay. Because we want it to pick a random color. So now, oopsies, not that. Well, I mean, we might as well, we could look at this. So every 3 seconds, my color is going to change, as you can see here. It really seems like a long time. It could stay the same. Yeah, so every 3 seconds, my color is going to change. I think that'll make the game a little more interesting, because then you can essentially, when we go in here, like, you can eventually kill everybody. So we'll do this. So I'm black. Wait, what? What just happened? Where the hell are all the enemies? No. No. Okay. What? Oh, I know what's happening. I'm sorry. So, essentially, what I did is because but that shouldn't be happening. Oh, okay, yeah. So here's the deal. Wait, did I do that for area? Yes, I did. Okay. So, because the area, or oopsies. Sorry, Bubba. I got my little baby here. And she's making noise. So, what happened is that they're detecting themselves in this because we're doing the on body entered signal, right? And we're checking if body.modulate equals self else die, right? And then we say, so here we should actually say elif body does not equal, and then this is actually pretty interesting. So we can say, or so we'll say body dot collision underscore layer does not equal. And if we go over to the collisions right here, we can then check the value. So 2 equal 2, I believe. Okay. And then now hopefully that will, wait. Oh, wait. No. Oops. That's not right. Else velocity equals 0. If body.modulate equals self.modulate. So, actually, screw it. They shouldn't be picking the body entered signal on themselves, though. So, what I'm concerned about is that the body entered signal is being triggered by itself. So, here I'm going to do this. I'm going to say print, just to make sure what's happening is what I think is happening. Here's how I troubleshoot. So, we'll say self, and then we'll say body. Okay. And then we'll run this. Oopsies. Run this one. Okay. So it's, yeah, so all we're gonna do is run a quick check. We're gonna say if body not equal self. That's crazy. Okay. All right, there we go. And now if I run this, does it work? Yeah, okay. So now I can only kill, oh, what just happened? Involves operand int and vector 2. I mean, it's working, but I'm confused as to why I just got operand int and vector 2. So where's the int here? Input vector should be this, right? Velocity, that should all be good. Yes, that's because this should be vector 2 dot 0. Okay, there we go. That's why. Okay. Cool. So now I've got these guys, and now I can kill him, and you can see my score printed as 1. I can't. I have to just run from this guy. And if, okay, so he hit me, and I don't know. My health is probably pretty low at this point. Yeah, and so it's gonna break when I die because I haven't set that up yet. But that basically answers your question. That's how you would do that. And then, so yeah, right now I can't kill anybody. Oh god. Oh, but they're killing each other. Ah, that's a problem. I mean, that's a problem, but ooh, okay. Now I'm black. Gotta run away from this guy until I turn purple. Come on, give me purple. Yep, and you're dead. All right, and then I just beat the game. There we go. Now, yeah, and then, I mean, that's basically it. So you can see that every time that's happening, I'm killing the enemy, and then it's also coming over here, and it is increasing my score by that amount. There's some stuff I probably should fix to make things a little cleaner. Of course, one thing is that the game basically breaks if there's no player. So we're gonna say if globals.player, okay, then I'm gonna say this, okay, and then we're gonna say else input vector, oopsies, input underscore vector equals vector2 dot 0. Okay, cool. So we've got that. There we go. Now we won't die. If body does not equal self. And I'm going to say body does not equal, or body dot collision. Why is it not filling this in for me? Collision underscore layer does not equal 2. In fact, we can actually get rid of this. So I'll explain what I just did in a second. You answer my question really well. Is there a way for you to transfer the code? I would read it again and take notes on it. Yes, I will actually show everybody here how to make a Git repo really quickly in a sec. But so this, I want to show you what I just did right here. So I said if body.collisionLayer does not equal 2. So essentially what we're doing is that the function was, this was accidentally being triggered when we, because it's asking if our self is in there. And I think there might be a way to say, like, don't ignore self. I think they actually fixed that, but maybe that back in Godot 3 that kind of got screwed up. But yeah, oh, maybe that was on raycast nodes. But so if we go down to collision, we can see that if we hover over these, they give you a bit and a value. Okay, now the value, you can see here the value is 16, and here if we go over here to the enemy layer, you can see that the value is 2. Now what we want to do is say that I don't want the enemies to kill each other. I only want the enemies. So to stop that right here, I'll say if body and then dot collision layer. So just like we could say self like dot like body dot modulate, or body dot if you're a sprite, we could say body dot texture, body dot position, rotation degree, body dot scale, stuff like that. We can say body dot collision layer and get whatever the collision layer is, and then we can basically do these check operations to see what that is. So basically, I'm saying that I only want this to do anything if the collision layer does not equal myself. In fact, maybe we'll do this though. No, we'll leave it like that. Leave that easy. So, yeah. So then, now what happens is that everything should work like normal. And then, now, I mean, this game is fully playable right now. Of course, I need to change color. Ooh, okay. Okay. Once I turn black, these guys are fucked. Oh, get it. There we go. I got a score of 4. There we go. Area collisions with tile maps working. Yes. Yeah, I don't think that's too hard to do. I don't know how you do each individual tile though. I've actually wondered that myself, and I haven't used a tile map in a game since like my very first game that I never even finished, and then it got destroyed because my computer broke. Very sad. But that's cool, man. Congratulations. Okay, but yes, so I'm gonna go ahead and make this a Git repo real quick. So I'll show you how you do that. So I'll go ahead and open up the GitHub desktop app. All right, and then, well, to be fair, so you could go here and you click Create New Repository on this, and then you just navigate to where it is, right? So we'll go here, click, go Create New Repository, and then we'll browse the location, and I would just go into my Godot project and select that file, and it'll create a new repository. Yeah, I'll do that. I don't want to confuse anybody. So I'll go, oopsies, not there. Go into okay, so we're in the Godot code, testing, and then I want to go to do QA session 1, and then I'm gonna go ahead and make a new repository in here, and we'll call this should be called QA underscore session 01, like that. Description, a live QA session with the boys. I don't even like that. Leave it like that. Okay. Okay. Git ignore. We'll leave that. MIT license, and then I'll click create repository. Okay. Now what I'm gonna do is go into this really quickly, and if I go into my Godot code, actually we should do this. So what I should see is that if I go into QA session 1, we've got, now there's that folder right there. Oh, dog walk, car move. Damn it. It's a real. Okay. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is then move this whole thing. So I'm gonna go move to, and I'm gonna move it into this folder here. Okay, now it's in there. Sorry. Ooh. Okie doke. And then we'll hit save. And now if we go back to the GitHub repo, you'll see that it has seen that we've added all that stuff there. And I can say initial commit, or we'll even say first question, commit to main, and publish repository, and publish repository. Oh, except I accidentally left keep code private. So now we have to go into GitHub and change that. So let me do that really quickly. Repositories, there it is, QA session 1, magical, right? And then I'll go into settings. Could you get me some water, babe?
It's out. I'm filling it up.
Okay, my throat's dying. Change visibility, make public. Then I hate typing, so I do these. I understand.
Alexa,
Responsibility.
remind
Thanks.
me 13 minutes to check the water.
Oh my god, that was amazing. Okay, and there we go. So there's that QA session 1. I will go ahead, copy this, and then I'll go into live and see if I can do this. There we go. That's the secret sauce. Redefine GameDev. I don't know, can I call you by your first name? Let me know. It really depends on how difficult it is for me. I need to, medical school in the US can be very, very demanding. So I really have to see if I can balance doing studies, if shots at what I really want to do are possible. Because what I really want to do is actually go into space medicine. Like, it sounds like a joke when you're saying it, but there actually are physicians. You go into aerospace medicine, you treat pilots, and then you can go into space medicine and literally treat astronauts and then study basically how health is affected in zero gravity on the ISS. Eventually, what I would like to study is like the moon and Mars and long-term care plans, dealing with cancer, the radiation exposure, what are the likelihoods of cancer, things that are really interesting like that, to me at least. So, it really depends how much work that's going to be to get to, and also it needs to be like, I don't know, there's so many things. It really depends how hard it is. I think that's like the number one thing for me. But yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, I don't even know if that's possible. Right now I'm going to an osteopathic medical school, and so if I do that, that's out the window, and I probably will keep up with the GameDev, because then I'm just going to be a regular doctor, except that I want to be able to, my goal is, right now I'm conversational in Spanish. I would like to be fluent enough in Spanish to get
approved to be a Spanish speaker as a physician. You can't just like do it even if you have to get certified as good enough in Spanish to actually, you're dealing with people's health information. You got to be good with it. So yeah, that's my goal, is to be able to speak Spanish, just be a normal doctor, but also be able to work with Spanish-speaking patients that don't speak English. And that.
That's so weird. Because you're saved under 3 different names you're saved on one name
Huh?
on my phone, Dad's phone, and something else. Sorry, it's my dad's birthday.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it's live stream.
Okay. So that's
But I thought you clicked the wrong button for face.
Oh, I didn't know that. My uncle actually works for BioWare.
But
Yeah, it's pretty cool, but it also sounds kind of like he's like, oh sure, he's a space doctor. Like it sounds kind of like that guy is a little out there, huh? Okay, so yeah, that's this game. That's the basics of it. And there's a lot more that I think you'd want to do, but I think those are the kind of the core aspects of gameplay, and I think it teaches you a lot to do that. Now I would turn it to the chat here and ask if anyone else has any other questions. If not, I'm going to start kind of whipping over to the enemy, or not this, but I want to go just to the questions on the Godot Q&A thread. If you don't know about this, super handy. I go on here pretty often to try. I'm not going to get into this one because I need to start learning how to use the file dialog. But there's a lot of different questions, and you can see they range from someone asking about some crazy rendering multi-mesh instances in C++ native script to somebody asking like how to spawn or how to change the color of something. You know what I mean? So don't feel. It's like anything. There's gonna be some mean people on here who are not very kind to you being a newbie. Just go ahead, post it. Just make sure that you try and use the formatting correctly to make your stuff easy, and there you go. Dude, yeah, of course. I'm really glad I could help. I'm gonna be releasing a bunch more kind of more beginner geared stuff on this channel, hopefully soon. But okay, so I wanted to talk about. So one thing I did today was that I went. Actually, that's not that. We'll go into my repositories, and I made this Particles 2D Plus. So right now we've got the regular Particles 2D, and I created this new Particles 2D Plus, and I actually submitted it to the Godot asset library. I think they would have told me, but let's see. Particles. Oh no, it's not even on there. Okay, cool. So I'll be the only person. So basically what this is, I think it's in this project here. But so if you add a normal Particles 2D, you can see that there's no like signals, and there's also no signal to say like when particle times out. So what you have to do if you want to make like an explosion, for instance, right, is you have to add a timer node, and you have to connect that timer timeout signal to some script, and then when that timer times out, then you delete the Particles 2D. Can you keep it down, please? But the problem with that is you constantly have to be changing, so you have to deal with the speed scale and the lifetime and all this crap. So the way I got around that was I made a custom script. So if we go here and I do particles again, you can see we've got this Particles 2D Plus node right here. And so this is my custom node that I just made, and it has a signal particle cycle finished. So that way, basically when you're done with the particles, you can do this, and you can just connect this signal, which is really handy. So that way you don't have to make a timer. So that's how you do that. Now, someone asked, there's a few questions that I thought were really interesting on here that I kind of wanted to hop into. But of course, anyone in chat gets priority. So if you guys have any issues with any of your projects, or anybody wants to ask me a question, I'm so sorry, Draw Central, that I don't know anything about shaders. So I can't help you. I'm looking through chat to see if anything said anything about. Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody asked any questions. If you did, please go ahead and just copy paste them, and I'll look at them. I'll be happy. You guys get priority over anybody on here. But so, some guy asked a question earlier. This is not a good question. Remote function on server not working, scroll container, blah, blah, blah. Sliding on slopes, that's a good question, but I don't know enough to say. Is there a way to prevent errors process without using delta? That's weird. area. Let's move to zoom to. Okay, here we go. This one and then this one I would like to do next. Okay, so help. I want to randomly spawn objects within the colored area. So I actually already posted a little solution for this, but I think this is really cool because essentially if you want to randomly spawn people, it's kind of a pain in the butt. And so I kind of made a little script here that does that. So I'm actually going to go ahead and just, well, here, we'll go cancel, and then let's get our stream. Wait, if I, oh, how do I share this? Stream health, stream settings, stream URL. Okay, copy. There we go. Okay, analytics. All right, and I'm gonna just make a new answer here. Okay, answering this on my live stream right now. Okay, there's that. Okay, I'm gonna click add answer, and then we're gonna do this. So he wants to randomly spawn objects within a colored area. And this is actually something like, I was like, why can't I just use an area 2D and say spawn in that area? And there's really no way to really well do that. So I started making something today, and I guess we'll make a new, it doesn't matter right now, but so I want to do spawn area. I'm gonna move to QA session 1 right there. Go in here, spawn area scene. So essentially what I've done here is I just added a collision shape, right? Just the normal collision shape right there, collision shape 2D. I've named it spawn area and I've added this script. Now, so like let's say I want enemies to spawn somewhere in this area, just right there. In fact, what I will do is let's go ahead and go to the world node here. I just made for Christoph's scene here. So we've got this, and I'll go ahead and delete these, okay? And then we'll add the spawn area scene, okay? And I'll put this like over here, and let's say I want to be able to spawn, I want enemies to be able to spawn from the top of the screen like this, right? Now, what we'll do is we'll go spawn area, and so what I've made this script. And so you get the shape here, and then when you change it, you get these extents. That's what it's called. And well, it actually depends. If you get a circle, then this will be a radius. So that all depends, right? But I want this to be, can I just undo? Yeah, nice. So if I go here, then it extends this property called extents. So I'll just make this 350 like this by 200. We'll go in here. And so essentially what I'm going to do is that rather than just using a bunch of points, we're just going to use this collision shape to get and we're going to randomly create a point within that. And we can just change that from here again. So I want people to spawn in this area. Why isn't it doing it? In this area and over here, or maybe you want them to spawn like this. You know, you could just, that's all stuff you can do. So I'm going to put it right here. Like I said, go like this. Okay, so I made this a tool script, but I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of that because that will confuse people. And also get rid of this, okay? Physics process, delete that. Okay, this is literally all the script is, and this will allow you to just make that. And so this is now, well here, let's go, where is the GitHub desktop? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and, so this is gonna be spawn area. So I linked this in the chat already. If you guys want to go grab this, go ahead and push this. And so essentially what this is, so we got onReady var spawn area. So we're going to grab our shape.extents. So we're getting our self, we're getting the property shape and the extents. We're getting that. Then we're getting onReady var origin equals global position minus spawn area. And so what that'll do is that will get us this point right here. And now we can know from this point to this point that's basically, so the extents is going to be this point and the origin is going to be that point. And then I've made this function, gen random position, where we go var x equals rand range, origin x, and spawn area. So rand range will give us a random, oh, I've lost everybody here. That's crazy.
So rand range will get us a random number in between these two values. The origin, like I said, is going to be right here, right? Origin x is here, and then extents x is here, and then origin y is here, extents y is there. So if we do this, we generate a random position, and then we return the vector 2 like that. And then, so if we want to spawn enemies in this random area, I'll go ahead and add a timer node here. Okay, now to that timer, well, in this, I'm going to call this world. World here. We're going to add a script, create like that, timer, auto start. We'll set this to 5 seconds. Yeah, we'll do 5 seconds. Okay, node, timeout, timer, timeout. We're going to go ahead and add this to this. Then what I'm also going to do in this, I'm going to say on ready var spawn area equals spawn area. So what I did is, this is the best way to grab things. So on ready var spawn area equals spawn area. Alexa, silence.
I left the water on. Hold on. I'll be right back.
So what this does is that this just gives us access to this node here, and then we can call that function. So we can call the function from this. So on the timer timeout, well, we need to start spawning enemies, but then I'll say, yeah, we'll do that real quick. So to actually spawn enemies, say var enemy underscore tscn equals preload, right? And this just preloads that scene for us. We'll go here, enemy, and we'll click and drag the enemy scene, just like that. So then we're gonna make it every single time that the timer times out, we're gonna spawn an enemy. So we're gonna say var enemy underscore ins, for instance, equals enemy scene dot instance. Okay. And then we're gonna say self dot, we don't need to say self actually, but add child enemy instance. Okay. But we don't have a global position for it, so by default its global position is going to be set to 0, 0. And here's what we do. We say enemy ins dot global position, right? So we're getting access to the variable global position of this, and we're setting it equal to whatever we want. Here I'm going to say spawn area dot gen random position. And so what this will do is that this will essentially spawn the enemy at a random position within this spawn area right here. Okay, so I should be able to run this without issues. And then every 5 seconds, somebody's going to spawn up top there. Yep, there's one. Oh God, and then he hit me. He's about to kill me. Uh-oh. But yeah, see, so you can see that they're all spawning from the area now. So again, this is on GitHub. Ooh. Oh, see, and I died. Invalid get index global position. That's interesting. Shouldn't do that, but yeah. So you can see that they're all spawning at a random. To daddy. They're all spawning at a random position up top there. Oh, mama. Oh, come here. Okay, cool. So they're okay. This is, I mean, yeah, this is not the worst game ever. And there we go. Okay, so they're all spawning up here, up top in the random position, at a random position around there. And of course, if you wanted to have, oh God, if you wanted to have them, for instance, spawn all the way randomly around the screen there. Oh, and I died. Okay, and let's just quit that tab. Okay, quit that. Is it gonna let me do that? No, not. It is not.
What do you mean? No, it wasn't.
Quit. Okay. Oh, I quit the wrong program. That's okay. So yeah, so essentially that just allows you to spawn anywhere randomly in this. Now, if we wanted, for instance, to make a spawn area that was like, we could do the whole thing, I would probably recommend doing something like where we could make this, so you can, instead of a rectangle, we can, it's kind of hard to actually do this with this, but I'll make another one here. So we'll do collision polygon 2D, and I'll call this spawn polygon area, okay? Just like that. And then I'll go ahead and save this, QA session 1, spawn area, and we will save right there. Okay, And then I'll add the script again, and then I'll go to the spawn area, and I'm gonna get a pretty close. No, this would be different. You wouldn't be able to do it with a polygon 2D, because that would be difficult. So never mind, we can't do this. But you could have 4 spawn areas. So because I did this way, we could make 4 spawn areas like this, and then basically randomly select one, and then randomly select a location from within one of those. So that wouldn't be too hard. Again, everybody, I'm answering your questions. I know there's only 4 people in here, but yeah. So I mean that's basically that's all he said. Randomly spawn objects within colored area. I'm assuming that he meant do a. He's probably doing something like this. He's probably got an area 2D, right, with a collision shape, right, and then you would expect, or at least I was like, well, if I make an area, I got to be able to like randomly pick a point in the area, right? And you really can't, which is kind of a bummer. So yeah, this is how I made the spawn area thing. This is a warning. It is not an error, so nothing bad is going to happen to you if you go ahead and use that. Use the collision shape, which I wanted to use because you don't need to use the area or anything like that. Okay, so next up, we actually have a pretty cool question. Sure, we'll save and close. And that is by this guy. How to make a camera move zoom to an area 2D with collision shape 2D position after I click on it. Okay. Now, I'm actually pretty excited to answer this. So this is essentially like if you look at like any kind of, we'll do like Command and Conquer, right? Oh, who's excited about this? Star Wars: The Bad Batch coming out tomorrow. I'm very excited. Yeah, it's gonna be freaking sweet. Look at that. Look at that. Anyway, okay, so we'll do more like Halo Wars. So something like Halo Wars, we'll do like gameplay. Something like this, and then you can see here that the camera is like, you know, you're going like this, and there's ways to make this one as well. But what essentially he wants is something like this, but it does it when you click. So you click over here, then the camera moves over there. And I actually don't think that's going to be too hard. There's a lot of ways I think we can do it. But real quick, I'm going to grab some water, and while I do that, I'm going to go ahead and tease you guys off with something pretty cool. So go ahead and check this out, and yeah, see you in a sec. Psych, the image file broke. So I will leave you with the intermission. All right, I'm back. I'm hydrated and I'm ready to rock. So we're gonna go ahead and make this. So, yeah, so this is in, I'm a little, oh, it's because of this. There we go. So now we've got colors, got spawn area, point click camera. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that because we're gonna start from scratch here. So, to make this, this is gonna be a camera. I'm actually gonna comment on this guy's real quick and let him know. So I want to do backup server URL. Interesting. Okay, copy. I'm gonna say answering this live on YouTube
right now. Okay, I'll post that. And then I also want to go ahead and post the GitHub repo for this because he probably won't see it till later, which kind of sucks because I'm sure he wants to ask some questions here. Post the GitHub repo. Here is the GitHub with the solution. Okay. There we go. Add answer. Okay, cool. So we're going to start off by adding a camera 2D node. Okay. Now, one thing, so he wants to basically select the area and then move over to that area. There's a few ways to do this. So, yeah. So you have something called smoothing here. And essentially what this does is it makes it so that if you move the camera really fast, it will smoothly move to that position rather than just kind of jolt all the way over there. Let me go ahead and do this. Do not disturb. Okay. So I would like to see if we can do a little something like that. So we've got this camera. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. We're going to go up to here. I'm going to make a new folder, and this is going to be, we should just probably do this. Okay. Do custom and Mandarina. And we'll say move camera click. There we go. Okay. So we got this, and this will be click to move camera. Much better name, marginally better name, whatever you want to say there. Clear this. Okay. Fresh slate. Things are looking up. Let's do this. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a script here, and then there's a few ways you can check for inputs. I'm basically in this game. The camera is our player, we'll say, which is totally doable. The camera can be our player. So I'll say function input, and this is actually a little bit, actually it's underscore input. Okay, pass. Now, essentially, whenever you press anything, click anything, this input event is called, and then we can go ahead and check what that input event is. So we're gonna say if event equals input event mouse button. So I want to do print event. This is probably the easiest way to do this actually. And then so I'll do this. So input event mouse button. I'm confused as to why it's like, oh, okay. So we can do that. Okay. So we need to check. There's a few things that we can check here. Is like, so input events mount button dot connect one shot persist. Let's do this. So input event mouse button. So this, we can look at this, a mouse button. Okay. And then we can say pressed. That is pressed. Say is pressed, if false. Okay, and there we go. Cool. So what I'll say is if input event equals input event dot mouse button, okay, then we will say print hi here, okay. Now if I run this and I click, it's not doing it, that's great. Didn't want it to do that. That was all just a ruse to see if you guys were paying attention, and it worked. Because now you guys know I'm an idiot. So I don't usually use the input function. And I'll tell you there's a much easier way to do this, but I kind of want to challenge myself to do this because I intentionally don't use the input function because it's a little bit easier in my opinion to just use physics process and then query inputs that I'm looking for. But we should be able to event dot type, I don't know. Is action type? Event dot is action type. Is underscore action type is action. String is action type. Returns true if the inputs event is one that can be assigned to an input action. Dude, I don't know. input event key. Returns true if the given action is being pressed and is not. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it the good old-fashioned way, and then because I don't want to waste your guys' time on stream. So we're gonna make a new function, and this is gonna be physics process delta. Then real quick, I'm gonna go up to project settings, input map, and I am going to add one. We're gonna call this mouse underscore click. Okay, we're gonna add. I'm gonna add this here. Mouse button, left mouse button, add. Okay, so, and then we'll say here, we'll say if input dot is underscore action just pressed mouse click, then we're gonna say self dot, I'm gonna do this, we'll say global position equals get underscore global mouse position. So essentially we're gonna set our global position equal to the position of wherever that mouse click was, right? I think I actually did figure out, I figured out the input thing though, kind of digression, but I remember in one of my old games, it's actually probably one of the most popular games, which is this one, Lunar Bastion. It's a cool little tower defense game. I figured out how to do the input rather than physics process to get this, to do this. But anyway, so this should work. The problem right now is that we're not gonna be able to tell where exactly we're going. So I am just going to add some collision shapes here, which Godot is gonna yell at me for doing, but I don't care. Okay, and we'll make these circles. Whoa. Make these circle shapes, and then I'll duplicate them and move them around. And this is just so that we can actually have a little frame of reference for the fact that we are moving. Because if there's nothing on the screen, it's just gray, you won't be able to even tell that we're actually moving. So we've got these three shapes. I'll go ahead and color them differently so we can see, modulate, bring red down. Oh, or not, because there's no reds. We'll go here. Not transform, but visibility. And I'll bring the blue down on you. There we go. So now we got three different colors. So now if I run, oh, but this is gonna move everything. That's the problem. So let's actually go to the world. That's gonna be a problem too. Okay, I'm gonna make a new scene, 2D scene, and we're gonna call this one camera world. Okay, and then yeah, I'll just save this. We'll save it in the same place. Save. And then I will have to delete these nodes. That's what I really wish you could copy and paste nodes. That would be really nice. But currently you cannot. So again, we'll do this. Get a little shape like that. Okay, something like that. Duplicate, move you down here. Visibility, modulate. Make a little bit like that. Duplicate, stick you over there. Okay, visibility, modulate, green. There we go. Okay, so now we got a little something happening, and we can see what's going on. Okay, now to this, I'm gonna go ahead and add my camera. Click to move to camera scene. Okay, let's say this yet. Here we go. Okay, now if I do this, oh, we have to go debug visible collision shapes. Okay. So now we can see some collision shapes here. Oh, we need to go to camera and select enabled. Nope. Well, that too, actually, but current is what we need to select. Okay, now we'll do this. Look at that. So there's one way to do it, and that actually works pretty well, as you can see. So if we click here, we're gonna move to that position, and we can move to that position pretty cleanly, right? Now, this is using the camera's built-in smoothing technique, which is essentially tweening us, which is the other way, one of the other ways that I was thinking about doing this, right? Is that if we, for instance, when we click, we could get that position, and then instead of just moving us to that position, oh, Leonardo, what's going on, man? You said that would be really cool. Wait, did it?
Stop it. And then also Furroy also said that. Can I? You guys. Oh, okay. That's great. Thank you guys. I mean, you're supposed to be asking me the questions, but I appreciate it. Thank you for teaching me something. I've been like, yeah, because I haven't really explored 3.3 too much, to be honest. I just downloaded it and got it going. And I should probably watch a video and see what the features are in 3.3. Because honestly, I have no idea. And I haven't used light mapping whatsoever so far. So, yo no sabía. Okay. Cool. So anyway, that actually answers this guy's question pretty well. Except that he says he wants to move to an area 2D with collision shape 2D. So, the way you would do this is differently. So this is we click to move camera. This will move you around there. But if he has different areas, and when you click on those areas, he wants to move to where that area is, right? Then, rather than have the camera check for input, we need to have these guys actually check for input. So, what I'll do is delete these, and then I'll make a new... I mean, actually, we could just make these... It's actually not as easy to say, like, oh, if I'm clicked. But I think the best way to do that would to actually be to add a... we'll do a texture... a texture rect. Oh, not texture rect, sorry. A color rect, okay. And then I'll go ahead and make the rect size, and we'll make this 200 by 200. That's a good enough size for me, I think. Okay, and then we can move that. And then we'll make the color like some random color, like some nice red here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and click Save Branch as Scene. Okay. QA session 1, spawn area. Yeah, nope. There we go. Move camera. Okay, and this is going to be, yeah, so this is going to be area to move to. Not super creative right now. Okay, and then we can go into the scene, say move to area. Okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and add a script here. And then in here, we're going to now take the camera, okay, and I'm gonna take this function here. We're gonna change it just a wee bit. What I would like to do is add an export variable here. Export var. Let's see, export variable. I want to make it clear what this does. So export variable self move or area move. Area movement. Okay. So export var area movement. Okay. And we're going to say this is a bool. Actually, that confuses people. But I'll just do equals false by default. Yes. And then say function ready. If area movement, then we say set underscore physics process false. Okay, there we go. And then here I'm going to go into area movement and turn that on because now we're making the area movement type. So we've got the move to area, right? And we've got the scene here. And now I'm going to paste this. So we got the physics process and we're checking this, but this is actually, yeah, I just realized that's actually not what we want to do. The reason I used a text direct rather than an area is because this already has the ability to essentially say this. So we've got these signals, focus entered, focus exited, GUI input, blah, blah, blah. So we can say, focus entered, GUI input, event, input event. Should be mouse clicked. There's mouse entered, exited, but no mouse clicked. So
In fact, maybe we'll change this then. Let's do right click, change type. Let's just do a button. Just a regular button here. Okay. And then what I'll do is I'll come here, focus mode. Oh no. So we want to go to custom styles, hover, style box empty, focus, style box empty, normal, style box flat. Open this up. We'll give it a color. Okay. Again, interesting. Okay, disable, doesn't matter. Pressed, we want this to be, we'll make it the same style box. So we'll do this. Okay, so this is a button, and then we want to move to that. So what we're gonna do is we can now go to the node here, and we can say button up, button down, button pressed. So on button pressed, right? Now, what I'm gonna do in the camera world as well, if I can go to, sorry, not camera world, but the camera script, is I'll say globals. Oh, you know what? I just realized it's not great. Okay. Yeah, we need to do that. Globals. Okay. And then move to, we need to move it to QA session 1. Yeah, we'll move it to right there. Move to, and then in globals, I need to say you need to make this a global script, because so essentially this is not going to be Dehus Hoga. What's going on, brother? That was the weirdest way I could have said anything ever in my life. But what's going on, man? So this is a global script, but because I made it global, when you download it from the GitHub, it won't be global in your game. So I'm saying you need to make this a global script. Otherwise, it will not work. Go to project settings, auto load, click the little file icon, then select this script and click add. Okay, there you go. And then I'll just do, just to be really sure, something like this to make sure that it is seen by whoever downloads this repo. Dus Hoga, please feel free to ask some questions, and I will do my best to answer them. If you have any projects you want me to specifically look at, I will be happy to do that. So on move to area pressed, oh sorry, the first thing we need to do is go here and then do globals.player. Okay, I'm gonna say equals self. Okay. Now, when on move to area pressed, what we're going to do is essentially just say globals.player.global position. Global. Okay, I actually want to go into the globals here, and then we'll type hint this as a node 2D. Okay, I think that should work. Okay, I'll go here, that global underscore. Oh, because I didn't save it. There we go, global position. Globals.player.global position equals self dot rect underscore position. Okay, and then this doesn't need to be self. I just always do that. Okay. So now we've got that, and then I want to go into the script here and put this guy. If we go to rect, I want to put the position back to 0 there. And then in camera world, we've got this, and this is going to be, well, here, let's just do this and add another one. Move to, area move to, okay. And then, so we'll make enable focus mode property. Yeah, I mean, I didn't use that. Okay, and then we'll move these around. Okay, move them around the screen just a tad. I'll move the camera here to do something like this. We've got our 3 areas here. And then what I can do is change the color of these areas by going into custom styles. Maybe I'll make this easier because people might not know how to do this, but we'll change the background color here to blue. Oops, it's gonna do it on all of them. That's weird. Shouldn't be doing that. Because this is an oh, I see why. Okay. So, make unique. And now we change this to that. Move to area 3. Custom styles. Then we'll click normal. Again, I'll right click. Make unique. Okay. And then, yeah, I'll just make this another color. We'll make this one green, let's say. Okay. Now, if we load this scene up, what's happening? Oh. Okay. Okay. Oh, I don't want that to happen, but that's okay. Oh, and now we can't even see the other ones. It's a bummer. Probably should have thought that out a little better. Oopsies. So I want these areas to be within a point where we can like see them all. But so we'll do something like this. Okay. Now you run the scene. If I click this one, I move to this one, and then if I click this one, I move over to that one. As you can see, pretty smoothly, actually. Now you could do this smoother. There's a smoother way to go about it. For instance, we could use tweens to do it. Also, you could use Area 2Ds. If you're dead set on using Area 2Ds, it wouldn't be tremendously hard. The problem is every single one of them is then going to have to take input. And it's going to have to check if it's in that position. Or, other option, is that, I think this is the best way to do it, though. The best way, almost certainly, is to have buttons that are already, I mean, these things are literally designed to tell if the mouse is in them. Oh yeah, you actually don't need the button. You can do a control and then say that if on mouse entered, we're going to set our process equal to true. So that's the other way you can do it. But this is obviously works pretty well. We can move to those areas. Now, what we can do to make the movement a little smoother is add a tween. I think tweens are cool. If you don't know how to use tweens, this will definitely help you out considerably. And I'll make a function called move to, okay, pass, and then we're going to be destination, okay, and then, well, here, let's just make this POS. Yeah, let's do destination, and then this should be a vector 2. This is a type hint. I'm going to delete it though because people asking these questions might not know what type hinting is, and I used to see that and I'd be like, that's too complicated. Okay, so the move to position. So what I want to do is say on ready var tween equals tween, like that, and here we're going to say tween dot interpolate property. And then real quick, I want to say tween.start because I always forget to put that. So tween.interpolate property self. Yep, so self. And then we're going to say global underscore position. Okay. Or we're going to say global position. Okay, so essentially we're saying, what do you want to tween? Which object? Self. Which property? And for some reason you have to give the properties a path name. So we're going to say our global position path. Then we're going to say what do you want the start variable? So I want it to start wherever we are. So that's why I'm saying global position. But you could put like vector 1 1 and it would start like up near the origin, or vector 0 0 and it would start at the origin. But I want it to start wherever we are and finish wherever the destination is. The destination is like that. So that's that. Okay, and now we go duration. How long do we want that to take? Well, we could calculate that dynamically, right? So we could say that
because we don't want it to take the same amount of time if we're moving 1,000 feet, and if we just say this move in 1 second, it'll move there 1,000 feet in a second. Or if you say, you know, we click on something that's only a foot away, then it takes a whole second to move a foot. You know, you might want to figure something out. Sorry about that. A little better than that, but here, we'll do that for right now. We'll say 1, and then we'll say tween trans. Probably do just trans sign, and then we'll do tween ease in out. Okay, just like that. Yeah, cool. Cool. And then I typically like to break this up into 3 lines like this. I think that looks the nicest. Okay. Now, this is the time, right? But what I want to do is quickly kind of define, so make a var time to, or yeah, we'll make it ETA. Our estimated time of arrival. Starting value, and we'll use the current value. Oh, that's cool. Wow. Yeah, I didn't know that. I mean, this works too, but that's actually definitely handy. Because sometimes, like, yeah, because sometimes, like, if you're not using self, it is kind of a pain to remember to do that. Like, if I'm trying to move another object global position, then you have to say, like, that object, that global position. I'll forget and just put global position, and then it's like moving that object based upon a different, you know, not its, you know. So it's crazy. That's definitely some good advice that makes that easier. In this case, I'm just going to do this because I think it makes it a little more readable. But yeah, that is a good tip for Roy. Okay, so var ETA. So basically, I'm just going to make a quick little algorithm, I guess. It's basically going to take the R position and convert the distance between the 2 positions, and then find how fast we want to travel to those positions. So yeah, so we can say var ETA equals, I think we'll do this, global position dot distance to destination, okay, divided by 100.0. Okay, and then what I'd like to do is just print ETA and see if that's getting us anywhere close to a number that we would want, right? This is something you kind of have to determine for yourself. But so the distance to function is in the vector class, as you can see right here. And what it does is it returns the distance between this vector and 2. I thought it would give you more info than that. But yeah, it gives that in basically a linear space, which is really handy. You know, there's a lot of, actually, I highly recommend someone just read through this, because there's so many like awesome functions for vector that do so many things that I'm like, how the hell do I do this? Like move towards, dot normalized, length. I mean, just unbelievable. So look through these. You'll find some things you're like, damn, I've been doing that the hard way. I promise. So move to destination. This is going to get our ETA. Okay. Now, when we click on one of these areas, I want to do areas.player.goal position. Instead of that, we're going to say .player dot move to move underscore 2, and then again we're going to say rect underscore position, just like that. Okay, now if we go back to our camera world here, that's actually pretty good. And you can see that, oh my god, that's taking 8 seconds. I mean, that's nice and smooth though. Oh yeah, that's very, very smooth. I think we can do to move these out, or spread these out just a wee bit here. Should be able to go a little bit more like, here, if I do this, can I just do that? Yeah. I think that'll still allow me to travel between them, hopefully. Do that, okay, cool. Let's run this. Oh, nope, okay, so this needs to be a little higher. It's fine. That's looking pretty nice. And you can see that the numbers here are going in seconds like that. Oh, but we're not actually using that. Ha! That's that. I knew something was wrong. So we've calculated this, and it's solid. Well, it's actually not solid. Probably want to divide by 1,000 here. It depends on your game. It really does, because in my 2D space, you can see that this is like an Ultra HD because I set it to that. So the screen size is 3,600 pixels. So yeah, so that depends on that. So we want these to be notably smaller, and this would be, for instance, this would be like 1.6, 1.0. So this would be ETA, right? Not EAT, but ETA. Okay, and now let's see if we run Camera World. Okay. So that way, if you are, but that's interesting, isn't it? So, but yeah, this is a problem though, because if you're closer, you move faster. And that's the opposite of what we want to happen. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely more you got to do with that. But you can see that we're basically tweening between those. I think I would, trying to think if I can quickly think of a way to essentially answer this. So if we think of it, this is how I used to do stuff. So the proportionality of things, right? So this, if this is farther away, we want this to be a smaller number. So in fact, the way you would do that is to, rather than do, you would do 1,000, for instance, divided by that. So now this number is inversely proportional to this. So the bigger this number is, the smaller this one will be. And then we basically, what's the longest we want something to be? Well, we could say, how long is the game screen? That's actually probably okay. So we'll keep this as a float here. And now, if I run the Camera World scene, let's see what this does. 0.74. This is closer. Now this should be a bigger number. That's a smaller number. Oh, okay. So that did work. Not too shabby, eh? Wait, except, so this is closer. So this is 0.91, and then this one is, so the larger this is, the smaller that is. No, I was more right the first time. We want, yeah, whoopsies. The larger this is, we want this to be longer? Yes. Yes. Sorry. Time equals distance over move speed. Yes, except we are not moving by any speed here. So this is, we're trying to get a time based upon a distance. So essentially I'm trying to make it so that given some distance, if the distance is very large, we will move, our tween time will be larger. And if the distance is very small, then the tween time will be smaller. So we're making this proportional, we're making a time, like a unit of time proportional to a unit of distance. And so I think this is actually going to work just fine. So we could do that. So that's going to be smaller. And then here, if we go to this longer one, it's going to be a bigger number. So that actually works pretty well. And then I want to just make a note here that this number will change depending on how big your game window size is. Okay. You 1/3 length is good. Okay, cool. So that's about it. I mean, that's really covered the solution to this question. What time is it? It's 9:22. That might be it for me today. I would like to let you guys know that there is something big coming. With me and a lot of other, honestly, I'm probably one of the smaller creators doing it. We're hosting something pretty big. We're bringing the entire Godot community together. And unfortunately, I have misplaced the ad banner that I actually made myself. Pretty stupid, pretty bonehead move, dude. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And so I really hope that you guys will stick around to check that out. We're going to be announcing what that is on May 5th, and then I have a stream. I think it's May 9th. May 9th is when I'm going to do my next Godot Q&A stream. So if you don't have any, Nova, what's up, man? I didn't know you were watching. Yeah, so if you have any more questions, or you think you might have a question, you're going to be working on a project, save those and then ask them to me on that next one, which I believe is May 9th is my date. It might be May 6th, but I think it's May 9th. I have a scheduled stream date. We're all kind of doing something on different days to make sure that and then the whole time I'm going to be plugging the event that I'll be revealing on May 5th. And also, we're all going to reveal at the same time. So you'll probably see a lot of your favorite Godot channels, if you follow many of them, posting this at the same time, which is just going to be so cool that hopefully we'll have all the same thumbnails, which I don't know if we will, but it would be cool because you'd see all these different people posting the same thing. You're like, oh, that's dope. But yeah. So that's what we'll be doing. So I'll be doing this again either May 9th or May 6th. I'll be streaming in between them, but I won't be doing a Q&A session like this. I really was hoping that more people would actually come in and ask questions from here. But I all the time just go on the Godot Q&A and just start answering people's questions. So feel free to post there, and I'll try and get to you. Oops, this is what I wanted to do. So yeah, if not, on May 9th, come here, come prepared with your question, ask a question, and I'll go ahead and try to, you should always use distance squared to unless it can't be helped. Okay, well, you know what, before I end the stream, I would love to know, go ahead and explain to me why should I? Because I don't really understand, honestly, the difference. Returns the squared distance between this vector and B. Okay, so that's direction 2, distance 2. Returns the distance between this vector and 2. Returns the square distance between this vector and B. This method runs faster than distance 2, so preferred if you need to compare vectors or need the square distance for some formula. Okay, so that kind of answers that question. But I'm interested, so let's go ahead and just do the move to camera. Whoa, lag there. And let's do this. I'm gonna do prints, distance. We'll do this. So prints this, and we'll do that again, but now we're gonna change this to distance squared 2. Okay, and I'll do this, and I'll click on one of these. So obviously it's a way bigger freaking number, which is kind of annoying, especially in a case like this. To avoid doing an expensive square root calculation. Now, that's the thing, is like we say expensive, but in a game like this, if you're doing it in a process or a physics process, I would see where that would definitely be versus 0 distance squared 2. You do 2 square roots in distance 2 versus 0 distance squared 2. Yeah, but see, the problem is like that number isn't usable by me, right? Like, I would have to divide that number by an obscene amount, which I guess is easier than actually doing the, that, you're right, like for sure. Yeah. I mean, I know what you're saying. I know how that's more difficult, but it's just like, you have to think about, like, okay, so I'm doing this function. If it's a process function, 100%, definitely right. But in this case, we're running this like once every few seconds. Not even, like you're probably not moving around that much. You know what I mean? So I don't really think it matters in this case. But if it was, I mean, we could pretty easily utilize that, right? So I could use this. Okay. And then position. I guess, especially if you're using pixel art and you're using a smaller screen, it wouldn't be horrendous. But so we got distance squared 2. Destination, and this number is obviously obscene. That's 2 million. 2 million. Okay, yes, sir. So let's make this 1 million. Is that 1 million? Yep. And then I do still want to print now. Print.
underscore ETA. How much bigger is that? That is 4 points bigger, and I think I added 4. So now if I run this, will this POW? Ooh, what's POW? Oh, yeah, see, I don't want to do that. That's also why, because it is an exponential amount, we would essentially just have to do that anyway. Okay, let's search. What's POW? POW returns the result of a base raised to the power of exponent. POW returns 32. Because that's 2 to the power of 5. So, I mean, we would essentially have to use the square root calculation anyway to make this a usable number in this case. And I don't, yeah, see, I mean, explain to me if I'm wrong, but I just don't see how you could possibly use that value. It's exponentially larger, right? Which is like the whole point, is because it's cheaper to do make something exponentially larger. But then it's not linearly proportional to the distance any longer. So it becomes useless in this case. Or, I mean, if it's distance, I don't understand why you would want to use that. Mattered a lot more 20 years ago for early 3D games. It isn't really a thing now. Yeah, I mean, it's because, all right, so even with a physics process or process function, I'm confused as to why, like, I can see how it's a little more performant, probably, honestly, pretty infinitesimally so. But it's like, that's not usable to use that. That's for exactly this reason, right? Moving from here to here, as you can see, left us with a number 2.8, while moving from here to here, which is not much farther away, left us with a number of 1. So 3 times less. Right, because we're dealing with something that's returning values that are exponentially different, whereas this is linearly different, right? The difference, if this is 1 and this is 2, the difference is 1. But if it's exponential, then it's no longer on that scale. If this is 1 and this is 2, then this is the distance squared to is then like it's double squared, right? So it's 16, or no, yeah, 16. This would be 16, and this would still be 1. Right, in terms of what we're trying to compare them to. So then it becomes really non-feasible to use. I think if it ever slows down your game, and I think a lot of people have told me this, I used to be really concerned with making sure I was making the most efficient thing. It's like, worry about efficiency if your game starts suffering from efficiency. If you've got a game like this, I highly doubt you'd have that issue. In fact, let's go ahead and I want to just make a little test here. So I'll make a new script here. Okay, and so I'm going to say testing, oopsies, testing, efficiency. Okay, and so we'll do function process. So we'll do it in the process function, really kind of crank it down. And I don't know if Godot is going to cache the answer to this. But so what I'd like to do is just do we'll just do global position dot distance 2. Okay, and then we'll do we'll just say vector 2, and then I'll put the x as 3000. And then the y as 1000, okay? Just some value. We'll even make these do like weird numbers to make them a little funky, right? 2.5, okay? And we're literally not even going to use this. We're just going to get the distance 2, and we're going to call that every single time. And I'm going to go into the debugger, go into the profiler, and then I forgot how to use the profiler because I haven't used it in so long. But so if we start it here and then run the scene, then we go back, we can go to the debugger, go to our profiler. And you can see that, for one thing, we're still running at 60 frames per second, like pretty easily, right? Really not a lot of issues here. One lag spike, bunch of lag spikes,
but that probably has to do with my computer, not the game itself, because you can see that, well, I mean, obviously I'm not doing anything, and the process is running the same thing every single time, so it would be weird that it would happen like this. That almost certainly has to do with my computer, not the actual function, because we're not doing anything on the function. Okay, so there's that, and I'll go ahead and stop this. I'll quit this. And then if we go to the profiler, we can see what just happened.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, and then, so that's the distance to function. This is giving us in milliseconds from the process. So 10.42 milliseconds. Yeah, that's not. That's pretty, it's a tenth of a second, right? But let's go ahead and see. Now let's do distance squared to, okay? And let's see if we get any better results. So our average, can I look at the average, or is this going to be frame by frame, huh? So the average physics frame here is taking 16 seconds, or 16 milliseconds. It looks like, pretty consistently. Does that need to be physics process? Physics process, and then, well, let's do this. Why is that happening? Okay, anyway. Distance to, we'll change this to physics process. Okay. Start, run. Okay. Debugger, profiler. Yeah, it's not a lot. It's not affecting the physics frame whatsoever. Okay, so let's go ahead and quit this process. And then let's change to distance squared to, and then we'll do the same thing. Run the profiler, stop it, start it, run it. We go back to the debugger and the profiler. And yeah, you can see that it's not even remotely affected. We're getting the exact same readout as we were before. And yeah, so I mean, I can imagine that if you were doing this on a bunch of different, like all your enemies had distance 2 or something, instead of distance squared 2, that might be an issue. And certainly if you were just comparing, right? Like if you were saying distance, like you were trying to say like if we're this close to something, if distance squared 2 is less than this number, well, that's always going to be a constant, so that doesn't matter. But in this case, we're trying to determine an amount towards somebody, where it actually really doesn't matter to know linearly how far away you are from something. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I would make something in the easiest way possible and then worry about efficiency, unless, you're doing something crazy. Like, for instance, particles, I was like really concerned. I'm like, oh, I've got 40, this one particle node I've made has 40 particles. I'm like, I don't know, that's gonna lag out my game. And then like, I see these kids with like literally tens of thousands of particles in their Godot game, and it runs fine. I'm like, how? It's like, yeah, I mean, just run with it, Godot, and it's just getting better and better. It's gonna be able to handle those things, especially if you got any kind of decent GPU on your computer. And I'm making games. I'm happy to make them for lower end computers. I was on like just a regular MacBook. It's not bad, but it's not great, right? But not for potatoes. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's that. That's about all I've got. That was a little bit of digression. I need to go. There's a lot of stuff I need to get done. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure, again, I'm going to stream in between now. I'm going to finish up making, what's it called? Missile Command. I'm making Missile Command in Godot if you haven't seen that stream. Halfway done. Made all the core functionalities. Going to go ahead and finish making that game. So I'm going to be doing that. Probably start putting out some of the videos I've made on how to code for non-coders, even though no one's going to be interested in that here, it sounds like. And then finally on May 5th, we will be, not finally, but in May 5th, we will be revealing this huge thing that all these content creators are working on. And then May 9th, I'll be doing my other Godot Q&A
stream. So send me your challenges, your problems. Maybe you've got a bug you can't figure out why it's happening. Send those to me, upload them to GitHub, do anything like that you want to do, or even like just, copy paste, make a Godot QA and link me to it here. And then I'll try to solve those live on stream. And I think that's May 9th. I'll make sure and post that somewhere. Well, I'll probably stream in between and try and make that available. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and yeah, have a good one.